Okay guys, welcome back. You are watching the STPL, and we are currently watching the Showmatch between Media and bwL Life. And we just had a pretty cool CVP to start us off here, and that's going to lead us into our next game here, which is going to be a PvP.
Not only is it going to be a PvP kicks, but as we were talking about during the break, it is going to be on certainly one of our stranger maps in the map pool.
Yeah, this could very well be one of the top 5 most weird maps made after like 2006 or so. So not the most normal of maps, so I'm going to head on over to the overlay and just really introduce the map a little bit. Maybe show the people who may not have seen this map before something to look at. So let's head on over to the overlay and let's have a look at Plasma.
Yeah, okay, so this is a very, very old map. I think it's about 10 years old, right?
Yep. Did spawn from the 2008 Incra on GameNet Star League. Is a 3-player map. The interesting thing with this is that it has eggs everywhere. You are sort of on your own little island to begin with. The mains are incredibly small, but there's a lot of buildable space around them. And there's a lot of really cool strategies you can go for on this map. There's some like semi-island bases in the middle, just up very small ramps as well. So lots of small ramps all over the place, lots of lurker eggs blocking everywhere. And it's going to be a very good map for drops. And of course, this is going to be a PvP. So this could be really, really cool.
Yeah, I also want to point out that this is a bad map if you are a PETA supporter, because we have locked all of the Panda Bear guys in a little corral on the left-hand side of the map at the 9 o'clock location. And, well, let's just say they're not in there to live out long, productive lives. So, yeah, you might want to avert your gaze if Kix ever scrolls the camera over to that corner of the map. But otherwise, it is a lush, friendly atmosphere for critters of all sizes.
Yeah, so the other really cool thing is the natural is not the base closest to your main. Well, the natural gas, should I say. It's further away, but of course, a lot of the builds on this map do go one base, but you can also see macro games on this map as well. It seems hard to believe, but if you do defend against the early drops, then you do have very strong movement going into the mid-game, into the late game. And because of all the narrow corridors, it actually makes it very difficult to push anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. There's a bunch of cool stuff that you can do on this map. I think my, at least, favorite strat is anything that involves like DTs, or you can also, if you're like a Zerg player, you can do some crazy stuff with lurker drops here on this map, because there's just these wide open gaps behind the mineral lines. And, so guaranteed, you're almost gonna always face drops here, but like you said, you can do those sort of eco cheeses where, because everything's walled off, you just mass expand and try to hold on.
Yeah, now I think the best way of seeing exactly what we're going to see from each player here is to move on into the game. So let's head on over to our game screen now, and let's get started with our second game in this series. It's going to be Media's Future versus bwL's Kingdom in Game 2 here of the STPL Round 3 Showmatch series. Let's get started. And speaking of getting started, over here in the 10 o'clock position, we do have our Peach Protoss fighting for bwL. Is going to be Kingdom, their captain.
That's right, and his opponent well, on the other side is going to be Micromedia's Future. Future is certainly one of the best performers for Media in the STPL. In their local in-house tournaments, he actually has not been doing incredibly well, but he is very, very talented, streams a bunch, is one of the most tenacious players out there, most recently winning a 6-hour game that his opponent refused to leave in a stalemate situation. So he just left the game on overnight and then woke up and found a place where he could mine, and then won the game after that. But if you look at the post-game screen, I think they have average APMs of like two. So it was fantastic. So definitely a meme master, and that gets my vote.
Yeah, Neil, I know Rota is in the chat from the Foreign Brood War Discord. He's been one of the people like me who does like his maps weird. He did like he ran a tournament which not many people know about. He didn't really advertise it too much. He more did it for his own personal benefit. Because he enjoyed doing it. Basically, it was called Rota's Weird Map League, and it did contain plasma among other
Yeah,
maps. It actually had some of the like Blizzard 1998 ladder maps, for instance, and I
yeah.
did play in
All I
that.
know is I tuned in and I saw that it was that they were playing on Crystallis, and I instantly closed the stream. So that was about my experience with the Weird Map League.
Crystallis was really fun to play on, actually. I think playing in Rota's Weird Map League was actually one of the most fun things I've done playing wise. And if he was to ever bring it back, I would certainly play in it again. I eventually
Oh
did.
yeah, it's actually a super cool idea.
Yeah, I made it out of the group stage, but then eventually made it into the second group stage where I lost to Tai2 and Seriosity. No, Drone and No, Drone and Tai2. And me and Tai2 played TBT on this map, and basically it became him going mass rates and me going mass turrets and Goliaths everywhere, and he eventually killed me. But that was a crazy fun game, and I would recommend, if he was to ever bring it back, to put this map back in. And I'm hoping we're going to see other fun games like this as well through the STPL Round 3. So, looks like we're going to have Future
Yep.
taking a very quick expansion at that gas. You can see if you zoom out just a little bit, just how far away it is from the main. You actually have to run up
Yeah.
a short ramp, or run down a short ramp, go all the way around. But due to the
Yeah.
eggs everywhere, it stops you running there.
Yeah, the best way to get to your natural is if you send your probes up to the north part of your base and have them just like build an escalator down to the low ground. That way they can just ride down there easily.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, we don't have that technology in Brood War yet, but that would be the best way to do it. Also, you'd need like a ramp and an elevator just to make sure that if you had you know, differently abled probes, they could also get down there. But you know, this cold and unforgiving wasteland kicks that we live in Brood War, and so we don't have any of those amenities of home to make it easier to get down to our gas thirds or naturals.
Yeah, now one thing I just showed off on stream a little bit is one of my favourite things about this map, and it's such a weird thing to love. But all around the mains you have like the weird doodad, which is called Tracy's Armory, and it looks really cool in Remastered. Like, back in the old graphics you can't even really see what's going on. Like, you can kind of tell it's marine suits, but not really. But they really did improve that in the remaster, and you can see it everywhere.
It's like that Diamonds commercial. It's like, he went to Jared's. He went to Jared's. But this is Tracy's, and it's armor and not diamonds. Which
Yeah.
I think we can all agree is definitely a step up. I would absolutely marry anyone that got me a suit of marine armor. So just throwing that out there, if there's you know, a rich, you know, sheik who's watching this and, you know, wants to get it on, it only costs one giant suit of marine armor. So, you know, hit me up in my digits.
Now, we did see a mana pile on there by Kingdom. Kingdom also going for Robotech straight away. Meanwhile, Future is trying to expand, so... well, Future's already expanded, so Future in a pretty good position, but given the fact he does not know that it is going to be a Reaver, I mean, he should have a fairly good idea that it will be, but he is going for his own Robotech. But for the time being, we are going to see Kingdom with that tech advantage.
Yeah, I do that. I'm glad that we are watching a PvP, right? Because in PvP, it's always hard to take an expansion, and so hopefully Future is kind of banking on the fact that this map is a little bit weird to give him that ability. And so sure, he's got an expansion advantage, but now he has to face off against like just one of the scariest unit comps coming his way. Well, it's going to start off with Dragoon. A Zealot, but eventually that Dragoon will be dropped off and a Reaver will be picked up. I mean, that's just going to be really hard to hold.
Yeah, now he's got very few units at the moment, has Future, and we do have Kingdom going for that elevator play. Gonna drop that one Zealot, or two Zealots and one Dragoon. Gonna see if he can make some damage happen over here at the natural. And there's no units up here to defend yet. But it looks like Kingdom's waiting for the Reaver. He's gonna save these units. Oh no, there we go, he's gonna send them in. But has this given Future enough time to get enough units out? And how is the reaction going to be?
Well, he had a pro blocking on his ramp, so his Dragoons were a little bit glitched out. But now they will be ferried over here, and I don't know about this, Kicks. There's a Reaver already on the way, and the number of Dragoons that could ever possibly get on top of that Reaver is 2, which is, you know, low.
Yeah, he's actually got 4 Dragoons
Oh,
now,
Kicks.
but...
Hold me, Kicks.
Oh,
no, not
dear.
like this. Okay, that wasn't actually that bad.
That
okay, that
one
was pretty bad.
Yeah, he's pulled a lot of his probes away. I mean, he does have the second Nexus, so that's going to be a little bit of an advantage, but still, he's taken a lot of damage.
Like, yeah, even if this Reaver kills like a bunch of probes, if it dies, and maybe even the shuttle dies, then Future will be like, I don't want to say okay, because basically he'll be producing twice the number of probes. But the second Nexus is actually almost up for Kingdom too. So really the best case scenario here is just not that great.
Oh, the Scarab! Oh, it dudded.
Oh, wow, it dudded. What the okay, I will never understand. Okay, well, it takes a bunch more with him. So eventually the Reaver goes down, and all the probes should be able to go back to mining. I don't know exactly what the probe deficit is, because I can't count quite that well. I gotta, you know, put my contacts in or whatever. But that was a lot of damage.
It was. Now, we do have Kingdom with his second Nexus as well. And now, during all of that, we actually had Future sat with a couple of observers completely idle. He was so busy trying to deal with the Reaver. Here we go. He's going to see the shuttle coming in with the second Reaver. Now, he does have his...
shuttle.
Yeah, and he has his Dragoons in a good position here, but the Reaver can drop down. But is the shuttle going to be able to get away? Yes, it does.
Ooh, yeah, nice pullback on the shuttle. Doesn't lose any hull health points, so good defense there as well. And so, you know, I don't know if the game is going to technically even out at this point, but as long as Future can keep the shuttle back, at least we'll get a more passive kind of state to the game, even though a lot of damage was done.
Yeah, now one interesting thing is as well, of course, is that obviously Future now has a big amount of units that Kingdom does not have. Kingdom's probe advantage is like really what's giving him this supply advantage. And eventually Future is going to be able to break through the eggs and do some damage himself.
Yeah, so that was actually not that great a Reaver. Kingdom lost the Reaver and the shuttle, and he killed like maybe 5 or 6 probes. Like, not a lot. He had 2 Scarabs that killed 1 probe a piece, and then the last one killed like 3 or 4. So, yeah, that was... I don't know if that was worth it. I mean, there's some sense in which just hurting your opponent's economy is always worth it, but I mean, it cost a lot.
Yeah, not only that, on this map, one of the defining features really is, even if you do get an economic advantage, it's actually really hard to press that early on. You need to constantly, especially in PvP, you need to get a lot of shuttles, ferry over a lot of units if you want to. You can obviously use a Reaver to blow up the eggs and things like that, but it is sort of money you don't really have when you go for this later expansion. Now, one thing that I believe it was Bisu did back on this map against Much was, I can't remember who it was, but one of them went one-base Carrier. Now, obviously we're past the point of this, but Carrier is very good on this map. Now, I'm sure neither of our players here are going to go for it now, but it could be cool to see that in the future.
Yeah. So, like what I was saying earlier, low economy now for Future. He's going to be building up to that, because realistically, taking a third base is just like a big deal. I think Kingdom is kind of setting up for that, and I guess so is Future. Once this third base comes up, you know, that could be where we really start to see big committals to things like that carrier tech you were talking about.
Yeah, now we're going to have another speed shuttle running around here. It's got another Reaver, and they're not willing to throw 2 Reavers into the fray just yet. Did manage to avoid the observers as well. But Kingdom, Future does have these 3 Dragoons in position.
Yeah, and here comes that Reaver. Okay, it kills... Sick pickoff, man. You invest speed shuttle, Reaver tech, all and you kill a probe with it. All right. I mean, it delays the third, so maybe that's the moral victory. But Future didn't even have enough minerals to build the Nexus there. So, oh no, he actually is going to lose the shuttle. This is actually going to be terrible. So, how many? Oh wow,
kills.
okay, that was a good connection. Oh, and he actually doesn't get a second Scarab off. So that was, I guess, a good defense and still good for Kingdom, because Future is still on a very low probe count.
Yeah, now we are going to have a Reaver coming in here for Future. Now the difference is, Of course, Future has had observers for a very, very long time. He knows exactly where his opponent's units are. They're going to have two
Hmm.
observers passing in the night, so this observer going to be able to see exactly where the Dragoons are now. And his shot, oh, he's actually going to try and snipe this observer. Can he get it? Yes, he can. Great pickoff.
Wow. Yeah, there's always that cool moment where Terrans like scan and kill the observer, and I'm like, okay, you're pretty sick. But sniping observers with observers is like, I think that's kind of the next level up because they can see your observer coming, and yeah, very well executed there by Future. So Future's hanging on. Both players have their third bases up and well, or coming up, and they're at about around the same time. Kingdoms is going to be like maybe 10 seconds faster, but they're on the way, right? And neither player is taking like critical crippling damage, although there was a lot of economic damage done to Future earlier. So the big moment will come once these ground armies really kick in. Kingdom's ground army is gigantic,
Yeah.
but the problem is on this map that the eggs really keep that from being very effective.
Yeah, it takes a long, well, it does take a long time to get through those eggs. It's actually going to be I guess two for the price of one on harassment here as Kingdom loads up two Templar and a Reaver. So if one isn't working, why not try both at the same time? And that's going to be very, very effective harassment. We do have +1 attack coming in for Future. I don't believe I actually saw that for his opponent. But look how many gateways Kingdom has. He has like 8
Yeah.
or 9 gateways at this point. He is just looking to close this out in any way he can, and there we go. Looks like Future gonna have to try and depend onto this base. What's the reaction gonna be like? There is the first storm, there is the second storm.
Oh no! Oh, that's so bad. Oh my god, that was a lot of probes. Wow.
Yeah, that was 11 probes, and I mean, Future has been taking an absolute battering the entire game so far. And I mean, he's valiantly trying to hold on, but the second Kingdom does decide to flip the switch. When he does decide to break down that barrier, there is going to be absolutely nothing Future can do, I don't think. And here we go, it looks like Kingdom may be looking to do that now, but you can just see the sheer number of eggs here blocking
Yeah.
his path, but he is going to be able to do it. It won't take him that long to break through.
Yep. Now, Future is on the same team as a guy that I always like to give what do you want to call it? An honorable mention to. The guy's name is Eric Rothmuller, aka G5. And if you've ever played G5, you know that he's a big fan of when behind, just throw up a secret hidden base. No one will scout it. You'll get back into the game, right? So Future's going to try that strat out here down at the third. And I mean, it hasn't been scouted at all yet, so maybe that comes up. He's on a four-base economy and he just kills everybody. But with the eggs broken down, he is about to face the brunt of Kingdom's full ground army, and this is just gigantic.
It is. Now it looks like Future's going to have to abandon this base. There's going to be very little he can do to hold on. But let's have a quick look at what's going to go on. He does have the Reaver. Can he get the good connection to this storm? Going down all across Future's army.
Oh, Storm on the Reaver. Oh, he puts the Reaver up, so the Reaver is damaged, but still alive. If the Reaver stays alive, it can kill off, huge clumps of units, and sure, anything's possible, but there's so much pressure down here.
Oh, the
another
shuttle.
Storm, and it kills off the Reaver and the shuttle.
Yeah, that's going to be too little too late. GG! And Kingdom is going to take a convincing victory there against Future and bring us into Game 3 with bwL in a 1-1 tie.
Yeah, this is actually a really good example of what games can look like on Plasma, because even if you take a lot of damage early, like you said, it's hard to close games off, especially if you lose your shuttles or your drop units.
Yeah.
But eventually, you will have to face that reality of once these eggs go down, you have to play the map like it's not an island map. Once it gets opened up, you need to be able to hold on, and Kingdom just had such a superior economy after killing off so many of Future's workers. So yeah, really cool game. I'm
Yeah.
glad that we got a chance to kind of highlight what that map looks like.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot more games like that in the future. It's a pretty good map for Protoss, so it wouldn't surprise me to see quite a few PvPs on that map, much like with Troy as well. But then again, even with some of the more like racially imbalanced maps, we did see a lot of diversity throughout round 2 and round 1. So round 1 maybe less so, but all of the teams in round 1 I'm fairly certain had like 5 Protoss players and 1 Zerg or like maybe 1 Terran across like 2 teams or something. But either way, there's a lot more teams now. There's a lot more diverse teams. The old teams from round 1 have picked up a lot of players throughout the tournament, and you do have sort of some of the more favorites joining. Like just in case you haven't seen the thread, TT1, for instance, along with Tai2, is going to be joining ninth team for round 3, so that should be very fun as well.
Yeah, so lots of cool stuff coming up, and I guess we're going to take a break here before we get into game
Yes.
3.
Yes, we are. So let's head on over to a quick 5-minute break just to allow us to rest our voices, to get another drink, and to get the next game ready. So see you guys very